And we can begin. Hello, nice to see you all once again. Now, welcome back to the lesson. This is tutorial 5 of the e-business class. Now, before I move on to talk about the content for this tutorial, I have several things that I would like to mention before we move on to talk about SaaS Enterprise Miner and cluster analysis. Now, so this is the Canvas interface. Now, as usual, all the tutorial recording is now available on my YouTube channel, and also the link is available on Canvas. Now, as you may know, starting this week, the campus will start to we will try to start the hybrid teaching, which means face-to-face and online Zoom classes. We will try to do it simultaneously. But as I have mentioned in my announcement, we have started the online mode and teach you how to register yourself to SaaS Enterprise Miner and to work on this data analysis on your own computer. That's why I think it is more suitable for us to conduct this class in online mode only, so that we are more consistent with what we have been talking in week 3 and week 4. But this is going to be the very last week with online only mode. So in the coming week, in the tutorial 6, starting from tutorial 6, I will try to have hybrid mode. Okay, I will try to have hybrid mode of lesson, which means well, you will continue to see me, but the background here is supposed to be in the lab. Okay, the background is supposed to be in the classroom instead of in my own office. Now, as I have only a limited seats available for face-to-face teaching. Now, this is by regulation, because of those type of social distancing arrangement. So the lab has 40 spaces, but I can only take 20 students for face-to-face teaching. That's why, in case you would like to join the lesson in face-to-face delivery, please send me an email or text me a WhatsApp message, okay, telling me that you would like to come to face-to-face meeting and seek for approval. Now, the arrangement from the university is like that. In case we have less than 20 students who indicate that they would like to join the face-to-face, it is totally okay. You could come weekly. But in case I have more than 20 students with who indicate that they would like to receive face-to-face delivery, now in this case we need to have a rotation. Okay, so we need to do some kind of rotation. So I will see how many requests that I have received, and I will tell you whether you have received my approval or not. And then starting from next week, we will do hybrid teaching. We will continue to go to upstairs, 7th floor, the original classroom, room 211, 7th floor, room 211, to continue our hybrid teaching. Now, you could continue to enjoy Zoom classes as usual, but in case you would like to have face-to-face delivery, just let me know. Okay. In case you would like to, receive a face-to-face delivery, please let me know in advance. Now, I think I need to have some kind of cut-off time for this approval. Now, I think maybe, how to say, as I have some kind of preparation, I need to have some kind of equipment moved over there. So I think we need to have some kind of cut-off time for this face-to-face request. I think it will be better, let's say maybe 11 p.m. Okay, 11 p.m. the day before the tutorial. Okay, 11 p.m. the day before the tutorial. Now, in case 11 p.m. on the day before the tutorial, I have no request for face-to-face delivery, I will deliver in pure online mode. Okay, I will deliver in online pure mode. Well, even if I have received one request for face-to-face delivery, I will go to have hybrid teaching. Okay, so this is the arrangement. In case you think that face-to-face delivery is more suitable for you, just feel free to let me know. Okay, starting from next week, we could arrange that. Now, what we are going to talk about today is this file, tutorial 5, and also we need this zip file which contains the dataset for our demonstration for cluster analysis in this particular tutorial. So I think I need to turn this off. Okay, it's already off. Now and then I will talk about something related to the grouping. Okay, I will talk about something related to grouping. So I will talk about how to do cluster analysis on SaaS Enterprise Miner first, as the teaching is recorded and I intended to put it on YouTube channel. So after the recording, then I will talk about some grouping arrangement. So I don't want your names or I don't want your posters to be shown to the internet on my YouTube channel. I think you don't like that. You don't prefer that. So, and as usual, just like the previous week, you need to go to this SaaS on demand for academics and prepare to run this SaaS Enterprise Miner. Prepare to run this SaaS Enterprise Miner. So these are all the things that we have for this week. So this document and this data set, so you could extract it and it will provide a CSV file just like the previous week. And here we go. Now in the previous week we talked about association detection. So the idea about association detection is that I would like to know the behavior of my visiting customer. So when a customer entered to my shop, I would like to see the chance or the likelihood for this particular customer who would like to buy several items at the same time, and what are those items in the same basket. So this is the idea for association detection. Now, cluster analysis is another analysis technique that we would like to cover in this particular course. Now, cluster analysis is something very interesting. It allows us to look at the characteristics or try to categorize customer according to different characteristics. Now, in the previous week, you have already got a preview that from the data set, you know that some customer or some shops, they have some kind of membership system. And that membership system is very simple. It is based on the usually it is the amount spent for a particular customer. Once you hit some kind of benchmark or some kind of grade, when you have accumulated a certain amount of spending, you could be promoted to another level of membership. Just like the, how to say, well, sadly, in this year, we cannot fly around, or we cannot go to somewhere to travel. Now, I think the airline company also practice these type of things. They count it by the mileage that you have taken for a particular airline company or an airline alliance, something like that. And according to the amount of mileage that you have, you will be promoted to a certain grade of membership, just like maybe you start from silver and then gold and diamond, something like that. Okay, so that may not be a very clear picture to identify which customer belongs to which category, or what is the characteristics for that particular group of customers. So that we have a cluster analysis here, we have a sample data set, and we look at what is happening, okay, related to the customer data. Now, this is the file that you have on. Now this is the file that you have on Canvas, which is again for demonstration purpose. This is not the real data set for you to do your group project. Now your group project, I will mention it later in this tutorial. Now here, just like the data set that we have provided to you in the previous week, we have extracted part of the data for this particular fashion company and try to do some kind of analysis and show you what could you do with cluster analysis. Here we roughly look at the data set that we have to see what kind of things we have in this particular data set, what kind of data we have in this data set. Now, for cluster analysis, you need to have some kind of a customer ID. Now, this is not the real customer ID. I have tried to convert this customer ID to based on an algorithm, so that even if you are a member for this particular company, you could not identify yourself here. And I have the gender. I have the membership that this particular customer is currently in. So maybe it's basic, maybe it's bronze, silver, or gold, something like that. I think by default there is 4 grades. And also I have this birth month here. Now for privacy, for privacy reason, I don't give you the birth date, but I will give you the birth month. Now some of the companies, just like the some kind of fashion companies that I go to buy perfume, just like this one, the Gulan here. Now usually when after you have joined their membership, usually in your birthday month, okay, usually in your birth month they will have some kind of birthday present for you. So sometimes it's some kind of product sample, something like that. And so this company also asks their customer to give them their birthday, so that they I don't know about their strategy, okay, but they have this data here. So and then followed by a bunch of zeros here. So a bunch of zeros here means actually it is something related to their per quarter spending, or the per quarter number of items brought, or number of transactions that they have. So I will talk about these later. And also I have a number of brands here. So I will show you the data analysis, and then I will give you a picture about what is happening here. Now once again, the data set that I have is for the same financial year, just like the previous tutorial. The previous tutorial, we have a data set from for the financial year of 2017 to 2018 and 2018 to 2019. Now I think in the previous tutorial, or in week 3, I have already told you, usually a financial year in Hong Kong start in April and end in March. So this is also start in April and in March. So this is what you have. Now here I will show you how to do cluster analysis using SAS Enterprise Miner. So after now, I don't need to show you how to run SAS Enterprise Miner once again. You should be able to do it. The link is I've already put it here. So under group project, you have a link to SAS On Demand for Academics. And once you have successful login, you will see this interface. And you click on this one, you will download a runtime file. And then if you run successfully, it looks like this. Now there are two things for you to there are two possible ways for you to continue your data analysis. Now in the previous week, I think you have already created a group project for association detection, and in fact you could keep on using the same project in case you would like to organize all these things together. Now some students do it a little bit differently. They would like to create another project for specifically for cluster analysis. So this is totally up to you. Now I will use the approach of opening the project that we have created in the previous week. So in case you have stored something, so in the previous week we have spent some time uploading the dataset to SaaS Enterprise Miner to their server. Now this week will be much faster. The dataset for the previous week is quite huge. Now this week will be much better. This week is only 20 megabyte. Okay, so I will try to open the project that we have created in the previous week. And here under diagrams, you will find that the association detection diagram is still here, which we have done in the previous week. Now I will not touch this diagram, so I will close this one, but instead I will create another diagram for specifically for cluster analysis. So here under diagrams, I will right click on it and then I will create a diagram. Now here it will ask me for a diagram name, just anything that you like. So maybe I will put a customer cluster, something like that, so that in the future I could easily identify which is which. Okay, so a new diagram will be created. So here you will see that you have customer cluster here, and also you have the sales association which was created in the previous week. So what we are going to do here is just like what we have done for the previous week, is to import the file. So once again you could click on this button, save file import, or in the blank space in this diagram you could right click on anywhere, and then you could add a sample and then pick file import. So both methods are okay. Okay, once you see this icon, then on the left hand side you have this import file. So just like what we have done in the previous week, you try to click on this icon and then you look for the file that you have downloaded from Canvas. Now I have put it on desktop, so that I will click desktop, week 5, and this Bauhaus customer cluster, and then I will click OK. Now I think this will be much faster. In the previous week I have showed you something very interesting. Now last week the file is around 200 megabyte. This week it is only 20 megabyte. So in theory it's only 1/10 of the time. So you can see that it's already finished. Okay, much faster. Now we save a lot of time for those type of leisure chat. Okay. Now here, after that you need to adjust some parameters. So you need to adjust some parameters here. First of all, you need to check this row. Okay, first of all, you need to check this row whether it is trained or not. Okay, in the previous week for association detection, you change it to transaction, but for cluster analysis, we leave it as trained. Okay, we leave it as trained. Now, the next thing that we are going to do is we look at the variables. Okay, available for this data set. So you click on this one, and on the left hand side in the variables you could click on this icon, and here an interface will come out, Now cluster analysis focus on number. Okay, cluster analysis focus on numbers. Now in case you have some English word, let's say my name is Joseph, these are English word, and English word could not be used for comparison. So you could not compare Joseph with Mary, you could not compare a grading system like basic, silver, bronze. Now I will show you the example later on. But at this moment, I will tell you that there are several variables that you need to change the level. Now, Here you have a number of choice, but usually we look at interval and nominal. Usually we look at interval and nominal. Interval means that it is number. Okay, numbers can be used for calculation, numbers can be used for comparison. Now, nominal means that these are information that could not be used for comparison. It may be English word, it may be something like this, something like a birth month. Now, you cannot compare January with February. You cannot compare February with March. Okay, at least you cannot say that December is larger than November. That logical deduction doesn't make sense. Okay, that doesn't make sense. So, say for example here, birth month, this variable. How can we switch our SAS system to English? Now, the SAS interface language is actually determined by your computer system. Okay, it's actually determined by your system. So my system, you need to go to this setting. I think it is language. Okay, so here for Windows, you need to say, okay, this one, Windows display language, you need to have it in English. Okay, so in case you are, in case your Windows, so it depends on your operating system. If your Windows, this part is set to other language, maybe Chinese, maybe Japanese, or maybe some other language, I don't know. It will try to follow the language of your operating system. So it is not configured in the SAS Enterprise Miner. So this is something that you need to change. I think now I have put my Mac aside, so I cannot show you the Mac. But I think the logic is very similar. You go to the system preference and then you look for the language of your system. Okay. What's nominal Chinese? I don't know. I have no idea. I learned it in English. Sorry. So okay. Anyway, sorry, I have no idea. Okay, now, so here, so in this case, you cannot compare April with March. You cannot say that December is larger than November. So this birth month is actually a categorization. Even if it contains a number, it is a categorization. Okay, you try to categorize them. And for cluster analysis, for these type of information, you need to change it into nominal. It means that it cannot be used for comparison. And other similar information is this customer ID. So this is also nominal. Okay. And for this type of nominal variable, I will suggest you to drop it. Drop here means that it will not be included in the cluster analysis. It will not be included in the analysis. So for nominal values, I will suggest you to drop them. So I have here. Now, here I have 4 nominal variables, and I will drop all 4 of it. Not including these nominal variables for analysis. Okay. Okay, once I have clicked OK, and now usually I will teach my student like this. Now for how to say, well, I would suggest them to run once first by having the only file import. And then after running one time, successfully running this note, I will show them, okay, you don't need to worry about this result. So, and then afterwards, you will add a note accordingly. Now, don't ask me why I'm doing it. Now, my previous experience related to SAS Enterprise Miner is that I don't know why. I have tried once that has some kind of error. That's why from that experience onward, I will import first, run once, and then I will then add an association detection. I have already forgot it, but that is usual. This is my usual practice. This is my usual practice. No, not association. Sorry. So what we are going to look at is add node explore cluster here. Okay, what we are looking here is add node explore cluster. Here you will add a node of cluster analysis, and then you could link these two together. Once these two are linked together, and then you could click on this cluster analysis, and then you click run once again, and then they will well, the cluster analysis will run, and then it will show you the result. Okay, spending some time for this data analysis. Maybe a lot of people are accessing the same server at the same time, so it is quite slow. Usually the cluster analysis is quite fast. Okay, so we have the result. It's done. Okay, and then we can click on this result. Okay, now this is the result that we have for cluster analysis. What we are interested to look at is this mean statistics, this table here. Okay, this table here. Now it may be a little bit confusing at first, but I will explain what is happening here. Now, more important thing to focus on for this particular cluster analysis, first of all, you need to look at this frequency. Now you could click on the header here, so that it will sort it out for you. Okay, it will sort it out for you. Now here it will show you the frequency of cluster. Now the frequency of cluster, it means that the number of sample you have for that particular group. Okay, for that particular cluster. How many people is there? How many sample is there? Now, if your sample is per customer, then here is the number of customer you have in that particular group. Now, you have the largest group here, which consists of around 253,000 customer record, and including their associated data you have provided from the data set. And then you have the second largest group here. You have 11,000 something, and then 800 something. So this is a reflection of how many people, how many customer in that particular group. Now I will look at this one first. So this is a discount, and then this is MSRP item. So what is it? Now I think in terms of the purchasing behavior, okay, in terms of the purchasing behavior, some customer are loyal customer, while some other customer, they are quite sensitive to discount. Okay, when your shop has discount, they will come in. If there's no discount, then they will not buy anything. Now there are these two groups of customer. That's why I have tried to extract these piece of information for you to do some kind of comparison. Now this one, the MSRP items here, it means that on average, okay, on average, this particular group, so all of them, for 253,000 customer. So on average, in these 2 financial year, they have bought around 2.5 originally priced items. So without discount. Okay, on average 2.5 items without discount, and 1.2 items with discount. Okay, this is But this is for throughout 2 years, so on average is just very few. So we could look at other groups. So let us look at this group. So I think that this group is more loyal. So you can see that this is 16 versus 11. And I would like you to have special attention to I think this group and this group. So I will talk about this first. So you can see that this group on average throughout these 2 years, on average they have brought 40 items without discount and 36 items with discount. So overall they have brought quite a lot of things. Overall they have bought quite a lot of things. So each customer contribute around 76 items throughout these 2 years. It is contributed by this 700 customer. Now what about the others? I think there are some very interesting groups as well. So maybe this group. Okay, maybe this group. You will see that for this group, the amount of discounted items brought is higher than the amount of items that is brought at its original price. So I think maybe these 400 customers are those we have mentioned previously, quite sensitive to the price, so that they mainly go for discounted items, while you could see that there are some other groups that is totally reversed. You have 100 items that is brought at original price without discount and 28 with discount. So how many people? So these 44 people in the whole Bauhaus database. So this is roughly what we could see based on whether whether that particular group of customer is sensitive to discount or not. Okay, now here on the right side here, you have some very interesting headers here. So I have named it like this. So 2017 quarter 2, 2017 quarter 3, 2017 quarter 4, and so on, up to the latest quarter that we have, 2019 quarter 1. So this is a count order. So this is the number of transactions. Okay, this is number of transactions. How many times that you have brought in that particular season. Okay, in that particular quarter. So you can see that from the majority. Okay, this is quite a large majority, over 90%, I think. So they actually brought on average less than 1. Okay, less than 1. So you can see that it's 0.1, 0.1, 0.1 something. So I think among, so you can imagine something like that. So for these 253,000 customer, so usually you have 1/10, so maybe around 25,000, something like that. So 25,000 on average, they will buy 1 item in a quarter. So it is very few. Now, what we are going to do in the projects in the upcoming 2 weeks, we will ask you to look at these particular pattern and suggest the opportunity that Bauhaus, this company, can do with the custom behavior like that. Now, with customer like these, what could you do to encourage this group of customer to come back to your shop and buy something? While there are some other groups that are, well, very active. So on average 9, 11, 9, 9, 8, 9, 5, 4. Okay, so quite a lot of transactions, or even this one. So you can see that 0.8, 0.8. Oh, starting and then starting to go to 3, 4, 3, and then in the recent 2 quarters, 10, 20. Okay, so this group is gaining. Okay, this group is going up. What can you do with this group of how many? 44 customer. Maybe you should consider promoting them to your VIP. Give them some kind of loyalty recognition so that they are willing to continue spending some money in your shop. So this is the rough idea. Oh, and also we have some kind of brand. So I have extracted 10 or 12 brands from this particular for this particular company. So this group has an increase in the most recent 2 quarters. Now we could trace, we could have a look, or we could try to have a guess. We could try to have a logical guess what kind of brands they are after. So maybe they are more interested in brands like this one, 9601, this one, 9019, and this one, 9001. Okay, maybe these 3 brands. Now, in your real data set for your group project, I will give you 3 brand names. I will give you 3 brand names so that you could identify what kind of items they prefer or which brand they prefer. Now, usually a fashion company has an umbrella of product. Okay, so it is a big brand carried with a lot of small brands. So these are some of the small brands carried by this company, and based on this cluster analysis, you could try to identify the pattern. Okay, what kind of brands this group of customer prefer, and what could you do accordingly. So these are the focus that you could look at and suggest some directions for this company to do after your cluster analysis, after you could notice this type of consumer behavior, this customer pattern, okay, this customer characteristic. Now there are a number of things that you could also try for this cluster analysis. Is that this cluster analysis, now the number of cluster, I think it is automatic. Now here, specified a method, now it is set to automatic. So SaaS Enterprise Miner will try to look at the best fit. We'll try to look at the best fit. It is automatic. Okay, now again, I was not being trained as a my statistics is very poor, my maths is also very poor, so don't ask me the operation, how these numbers are being calculated. Okay, I don't know. Okay, I am just a user. But here you could actually specify the number of groups that you have in case, well, you would like to try to categorize them into maybe 5 groups, 6 groups, 7 groups. You could specify a number here. So we could try this function so that we could keep it at 10. Well, let's see what happens. Okay, you could change this number of cluster, and then you could run the data analysis and see what could you find. Okay, so we have the results. So after defining the number of groups that you have, SaaS Enterprise will try to stick with the number of groups defined by you. Okay, the number of groups defined by you. But sometimes it will have fewer groups. Sometimes it will have fewer groups if they think that fewer groups can fit it even better. Okay, now we click on this frequency of cluster, and you can see that it become 10 clusters, and you could look at the numbers accordingly as well. Now there is also something that I would like you to have to pay special attention is that for cluster analysis, usually if you have fewer variables, you could see a more precise result. Now, in the upcoming data set that we give you for your group project, there is absolutely more data than you actually need for cluster analysis. There's actually more than what you need for data analysis. And your job is to locate or pick up those you feel interested. Okay, pick up those you feel interested. Now, I think in the next tutorial, we will talk about the data set for you to do the group project. Okay, so I will show you something just like what you have done. You click on this file import, you click on this variable. You could disable some variables. Say, for example, I am only interested in the most recent 2 quarters. So I could select these and then change job to yes. I'm not interested in brands, or maybe I'm only interested in a few brands, just like maybe some brands that we have just previously identified as very dominant. So I will try to drop a number of quarters, and I will try to drop a number of brands and see what will be the output. No, I have clicked the wrong button. Okay. Here. So usually with less variables you will have a more clear picture. If you have so many variables in a cluster analysis, usually there will be so many noises. And it will run faster as well if you have less variables. Okay, so we click on this result and look at the result. Now you will see 10 groups defined by me. And you will see actually the frequency change a little bit. So maybe it is easier for you to identify which group should be your VIP. Maybe these 2 groups that is arising. This group, this 14 customer, and also these 194. So around 200 customer, you could consider giving them some kind of VIP status so as to keep on attracting them to buy something. Now you can see that on average, each customer will contribute 100 items without discount, and 44 items with discount. While this group, you can see that 123 items with discount, 32 items without discount. So you can see definitely a very different behavior here. This one, well, may not be very attached, maybe not be very attracted by the discount, but this one is more sensitive to discount. So you can see that with less variables, you will have more clear picture. With less variables, you will have more clear picture and easier to interpret. Now, these are the things that I would like to cover for this cluster analysis. So you could follow this procedure and do the data analysis for your group project accordingly. Now, I think we will disclose the group project data for you to do data analysis very soon, so pay special attention to our announcement. Now, these are all the things that I would like to do, cover in this particular tutorial. So I will end the recording first.